But yeah, but like history it never really grabbed my attention. It was all and kind of like in hindsight now, like it was it's re like I feel like it's deeply rooted in nationalism. And to a certain extent, I get it, right? You want to learn about the country, the great things that the country does, but it's this it glazes over, all of the history, right? It's like, it's kind of like when you go to an interview, like like you don't go to an interview and talk about all the things that you did bad at the last job. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like so, but like it gets painted as like everything was rainbows and unicorns.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But it there's a lot there's a lot of holes in, the history that is taught. You know what I mean? And whether you and to be honest, like American history is short compared to the rest of the world. So I wasn't a fan of history, and I didn't really gain a interest in history until I went to Europe.
Okay.
And I had a friend that she was into she was kind of into history, but because of the military, she was kind of really like into military history. Going to like the beach in Normandy or going to like not World War, but like Civil War museums and like World War I, World War II museums and stuff like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And uh but in Europe, like we would go somewhere like we went to the beach in Normandy,
Okay.
right? Where the 82nd jumped in, stormed the beach
Yes.
of Normandy, and and what kind of like gains your interest is like when you see things in movies, right? Because in movies, they have to what's the word I'm looking for?
Animated.
Huh?
They animated or they had to.
They what's the word where they exaggerate,
Yes.
right? Because like I forget what the movie was, but there's like I think it's the one with John Wayne. It's the movie John Wayne where they did they stormed the beach of Normandy.
Okay.
And there's a scene where like they had to scale this wall. And this wall was like, in the movie it was like a four story wall. And they took the rope with the hook, grappling hook on the end, and they just tossed it up and they just climbed this wall. And then when you like if you actually go to the beach in Normandy, this wall is like there's no need for no like hook and grabber, like no
Oh.
rope. Like no, it's short.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And then like it's like in the movies, it's like you think this beach was like a mile long,
Hmm.
or like this, and this we also got to think about like erosion from like when, but I get it, but like the beach was not that big.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So or like Saving Private Ryan.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Where like it was this long beach and you gotta like and like you get there and you be like, I can throw a rock from here to the water.
Yes.
So like to actually see it and be like and kind of it gives you a different perspective of like what really was,
Hmm.
how it went. Some of the the anti-aircraft guns are still there
Oh.
on
Okay.
in that area. Some of them were destroyed, some of them are in pretty good shape.
Hmm.
So you get to see that. There was another scene where like this paratrooper got he got his parachute got caught on the steeple of a church.
Oh.
And so we went by that church
Oh.
and like there's still like they have like an actual dummy hanging on a parachute on that church that
Oh.
paratrooper got caught up on. So
Yeah.
like you get to see all that. Um so yeah. But then like so like seeing that kind of gives you like kind of gives me gave me a better perspective and like grew my interest in history. And then that's when I started to uh see more go to more like museums and seeing more historic landmarks and
Yes.
museums and stuff like that. Going to see cathedrals, right? Because like there's a lot of cathedrals, churches that are in Europe. And like these and it's not like these cathedrals are big
Hmm.
and very have a lot of detail. But to think about so how so much detail and thought was put into this architecture centuries ago
Yes.
and the way they still look today because like a lot of architecture in Europe is still the same architecture from when it was first built.
Yes.
They just is they have a really good uh they preserve it very well.
Yes.
So like seeing all these cathedrals and then like going to see uh the castles. They have a lot of castles in Europe. And going to see the castle that Disney used as the castle in Snow White.
Yes.
Like there's a like that castle they use in Disney movies is the actual castle in Germany.
Okay.
And and it's it's a tourist attraction and it's like it's very well preserved and you can walk through that whole castle and just to kind of see, you know, get that, that view and seeing how, what actually seeing history is,
Yeah.
that's what gained my interest. And then coming back here to the States and it's like I
Mm.
can go like almost, almost every, well, most cities have a, African American museum that you can go to. Like when I was in St. Louis, I went to the Negro Baseball League Museum.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That was very good to read about how the Negro League was created and how it thrived. And you learn stuff like how just like most of like the the Negro League was better than the National Baseball League, like the MLB, like
Yeah.
the Major League. So like and then because like these stories when we talk about history and how like there's holes in history, like to learn uh that the Negro League was so good that it was drawing attention away from the major leagues and like it and then it puts in perspective how things change because of financial reasons,
Hmm.
right? So it's like, okay, let's start bringing in because it wasn't like Jackie Robinson was a great player and was introduced into the major leagues, but it, there was black players in the baseball league before and they got banned.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then they created their own league and it was doing good and it was starting to garner so much attention that they was like, all right, let's start bringing, African Americans back into the major league so that way we can basically profit.
Yes.
So that's how, that's the real reason why, they was reintroduced into the major leagues, back into baseball.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that, that gains my interest and
Hmm.
gets my attention. You know what I'm saying? I talk about how Lincoln never like Lincoln never really his goal was never to free slaves.
Hmm.
His goal was to rejoin uh the North and the South. You know what I mean? Because the South was garnering so much wealth because they still had free labor.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you can't compete with free labor.
Hmm.
So when you have citizens that can't find work because they're not going to work for free, but they still get free labor, and they're like, why am I pay you when I get it for free?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So and plus you have a divided country.
Hmm.
So it was the real reason was to bring the country back to whole.
Yes.
And the only way to actually do that was to end slavery.
Mm. I tell you, this whole history platform outlook, however you want to label it, has been always important to me. That's why I asked you, like, did you like it in school? Because I loved it in school.
Mm,
Like, I always gravitated towards that for whatever reason. I don't know. I like to retain information and especially history. And I feel like that it's important, but we're in a space with the new generation of kids that we can't wait until the schools teach them because they're not going to teach them at the end of the day what they need. They need to learn our history, where we have came from, what we went through, and where we are today, because it is truly repeating itself. I believe that. So some components to what we're experiencing, um, it is repeating itself. So I wanted to talk to you about this week. My son came home and he said, "Hey, mommy, I had to tell you what happened this morning." So they were having an MLK, I guess, event this week, and he said one of his teachers said, "Hey, are you going to go to the event?" And he said, "I really don't want to. Um, I kind of have a lot of information already." And this teacher said, "Well, since you know everything about MLK, tell me how many times that he was arrested." And he told him how many times he had been arrested. And he said, "Oh, well, you do know. But why are you even questioning that?" And the backstory behind that is years ago, I had taken my kids down to Atlanta and we went to Morehouse, Spelman. We didn't go to Clark Atlanta for whatever reason. It was not on my radar at all. But I made it my mission to go over to the MLK Center and to the church and the house because I wanted them to see it. My son was young then. I didn't think that he retained this information, but he did. And
mm,
he has studied without me telling him, you need to go and read this. He has done that on his own. So he likes history. And I love that for him because I'm not pushing it as much as I need to, but I also want like all three of them to know like you're good with being African American. You're great with being African American. I don't want you to be anyone else or think you have to be anyone else. That is who you are. I don't want you to lose your identity. Um, if you want to go to a PWI, go to a PWI. But if you prefer to go to a HBCU, then do that because it provides you something that the PWI does not offer you at the end of the day. I was just talking to him earlier about it. I said, when you look at a Howard or a Spelman or a Morehouse, those three, I was speaking to him about. Howard is the mecca of HBCUs. Like, that's the golden ticket. You
mm,
want to have Howard on your resume. You want to have Morehouse on your resume because when you are known as a Morehouse man, then that's your golden ticket everywhere.
mm,
Spelman the same way. So, and other HBCUs are similar, but I don't think they hold as much weight as other ones do that are known, really known
mm,
for different things. So, I was alarmed. And I had to go in there last night to the parent night to see this man. See what he looked like. Who is this person that is questioning my child? And I looked at him, I said, "Oh, okay." I can form opinions just like you formed opinions. So, I have to tear my keyboard up. I haven't yet, but I had to because I want to know like what was the backstory. I'm not going to sit here and tell you why I took my son to Atlanta because it was important to me for them to know their history. And you're not going to teach what they need because it's going to be limited here in Delaware, similar to other states with the curriculum. But I don't believe they're going to get what they need to a certain point within African American history in our schools. So I think we have to, as parents, educate our kids outside of school. That's my take on everything. So I was a little bit alarmed, but I shouldn't be. You know, I wasn't gonna go into, I met Coretta Scott King as a young child. My grandmother knew her. So
Mm.
I wasn't going to go up to him and say, this, and this. I don't have to. My son knows that now, but I don't have to do that to explain to you history at the end of the day and why we go where we go. I take my kids on college tours. A lot of people know that. A lot of people don't do that, but they should because you need to know the history. HBCUs were funded by white Americans at the end of the day. They're named after white Americans, some of them. So, you have to know that history as well. Spelman, Lincoln University, Howard. You go and look at the history of everything, you know, they were created and developed by white Americans and black Americans. So that history is never going to be erased. I don't care what book you take away, list them, ban them from being sold, whatever. History is not going to be erased at the end of the day. So I just look at everything that's going on within the schools and libraries and things of that nature and, burning books and banning them. I would say to any adult or any teenager, definitely buy books. Don't buy sneakers, buy books. And I'm a sneakerhead. We are sneakerheads.
It ain't gonna stop.
No, it's not gonna stop. But
I stop.
get, yeah, get some books and
I mean,
read
it's
them.
look. I'm a believer of uh, learn by example. All right, sometimes you don't have to be an example, but uh, I believe that uh, more more times than none that you have to lead by example. So, you know, uh, parents are influential. You know what I mean? So if you read books, that's going to influence your children to read books. You know what I mean? If you're an entrepreneur, that's going to influence your children to be entrepreneurs, right? So you gotta lead by example. You know what I mean? And that's just that goes into when you're being a leader too. You have to lead by example. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
yeah, so there's a lot of rooster necks popping up out here. So and you know who I call rooster neck, but
yeah.
um yeah, you gotta lead by example. So if you want, you know, your if you want your young ones to learn or to pick up, you're gonna be that one. And we've had this conversation before about, if you're expecting school to teach everything, it's not gonna happen.
No.
That's not the purpose of school. The purpose of school is to be that basic education. You read, you write, and you can count, right? And know some history, right? But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to go out and expand on that, you
Mhm.
know. And sometimes you gotta pay for it, but you're gonna have to, on your own, you're gonna have to expand on that. You're gonna have to expand on writing. If you want to be a writer, you gotta do more writing. If you want to get better at math, you gotta do more math. You know what I mean? Like learn that stuff. So you you can't expect someone else to teach what you want your children to know, or what you want the youth to know. You know what I mean? Uh, so yeah.
Yeah, I have my main goal this year is to get a group of kids and take them on a college tour. Like I have cousins that have reached out and said, "Hey, cousin India, where are we going?" And I'm saying, "Where's your mom and dad? Tell them our plan, you know?" But I'm excited for the youth to get to experience exposure. And I was just talking to him about that earlier. You know, a lot of people don't get that. And that's why when they get to the college campuses, they're like, wow, I don't not Delaware State because this is our home, you know.
Mhm.
But, and it's a great college or university, I should say. But I'm not one of the ones that say you have to go to Delaware State. You can't go anywhere else. It's a lot of people out here saying you need to go to Delaware State and save all of your money. You can get a free um, scholarship that'll pay for all 4 years. And I get it. I totally get it. But you can also go and do that outside of the state as well. And you have to explain, just as I did earlier to my son, this is why your grades are important. Because if you get great grades and you have a great GPA, you can get great scholarships and grants. It's not going to be the same as what it used to be, but you can get a good college degree for free or half price, however you want to cut it. So it's really important. And I don't think that kids understand that either. Like it's not being explained um to that magnitude of GPA is really important. You know, all 4 years. College prep is very important. PSAT, SATs, you can even take an eighth grade test, which they don't support in Delaware, but other states do because they're ahead of the game.
Mm.
When you go to take these SATs in your 10th or 11th grade, you're behind here in Delaware. Because guess what? It may be a Maryland or Jersey that's taking theirs in the 7th or 8th grade. They don't even offer that here. So they're already prepping their kids well before 10th and 11th grade. They're already experiencing test taking. We're not. So that's why I say we have to continue to expose our kids. You know that your kids are gifted, get them into different programs and get different resources. Nobody's going to come and tell you what's out here. You know, nobody.
Never will. Yeah, it's never going to be there's this resource out here. You know what I mean? It's going to be like, hey, here's a resource. If you want it, you got to come find out about it.
Yes, it truly is. So that's what I have been doing. That's my plan for this year, working with high school, juniors, seniors, sophomores. It's never too early to take these college tours. I love me HBCUs and, you know,
Why wouldn't the well, question I have is like, why wouldn't a parent want to go to an HBCU with their child? Or did I read that wrong?
no, money. Money is the issue. Money and time is it, and it has always.
Not like go visit, not like send their child to HBCU, like just to go visit a college tour or oh okay.
Same thing with AAU tournaments. When I used to do AAU tournaments when we first started with another team, people would send their kids with us. Nobody wants to sit all day for 2 days. If you have multiple kids, you can spend now and they're saying that tournament tickets are like entry fees are about $100 to $200 a weekend.
Yo, who?
Oh,
I don't know. Is that off? I don't know if I want to go off topic or or not, or are we just having a regular conversation tonight?
We can.
Because who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody. Was it you that was telling me that? Like getting into because because I told you I have a friend. She has a daughter that plays volleyball,
Mhm.
and she's been playing in this I guess whatever this travel volleyball club for it's been a minute. It has been like 4 or 5 years now,
Mhm.
I believe. Yeah, about 4 or 5 years. But like the amount of money that she pays for, and like I hear like just to get into the club, I think it's like 4 or 5 grand.
That's about right.
It's just to get into the club and play volleyball with these traveling clubs. But travel is still on you. Hotels is still on you. And I'm just and like I I believe uniforms is included in that
It should,
club fee.
it should, but
Yeah.
there's different ways like with cheer or with softball, volleyball, basketball, football, all of soccer, they're all big in their own right. They're all money makers at the end of the day. If you have
Mm,
a little bit of sense, if you want to make money, you will get in one of these sports. You will have a building for inside and outside, and you will funnel for a time period. Let's just say 6 months. If you can carve out 6 months out the year and you can get a good brand going and get people to pay and buy into your program. And I'm just talking about being a business owner of a sports arena. I've seen it on the basketball side when we travel. Getting a like an old Acme building,
mm.
a grocery store, turn that into all sports. A lot of people have done that. Maryland, Virginia, it's $1 million business. People, every parent thinks that their kid is great at whatever sport. They may not be great, but every parent thinks that their child is the next athlete. With that being said, they buy into the dream. So what happens? You're gonna pay whatever that they ask you to pay. You're gonna find a way or make one, as Clark Atlanta says.
Look, because I drove I there's this building and I drove by and it's like it's like you drive and you see something but it doesn't really register. You just kind of like when I drove by I just be like, oh, okay. But I drove by it again recently and it's like this gymnastics cheer gymnase or complex. This building this building is huge. It's a huge building.
Uh-huh.
And there's another building that goes with it next to it.
Really?
Yes, and it's out on in the I guess you could call it the up and coming area of
Mhm.
Clarksville. It's called the Sango area.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's the up and coming area. But this side note, I didn't notice it until this week. There's a Dollar General in this Sango area, and I didn't even know that they had built a Dollar General out there. This
Really?
Dollar General doesn't look like the other Dollar Generals that you see every 15 minutes. Like
Yeah.
this Dollar General's it is the brick on this Dollar General's is a little higher grade.
Oh,
The other I'm telling you. But it's across the street it was like across the street or a little bit down the street from this Dollar General, but this gymnasium complex
Mhm.
is humongous. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like I ride past and I just kind of look at it and be like, all right, but it wasn't until like this week and I looked at it and I was like, that building is big.
If you can get every sport to get into one building and you funnel 20 to 30 kids for an hour, if you charge them $200 a month each kid or $500 a month, you're paying for someone's mortgage, car payment. They don't have to work. I'm telling
Mm.
you, it's the new scam of America.
I believe it. I
I
believe it.
I
I'm
happened to one of my athletes that was in my program. Her mom went and paid somebody a large amount of money every month. He wrote a contract. It was for a recruiting service, and he didn't get her recruited.
mm,
Top athlete. I took her to Howard. I took her to A&T. I took her to Chicago, and he didn't do anything. But guess what? He got $500 a month
mm.
a year. That's his car payment. And when you get 20 or 30 kids in the area, you don't have to really do much.
Mm.
It's a grand scheme.
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm telling you, like, cause when I talk to my friend and she be like, yeah, we gotta go to, like, they be having like sometimes back to back tournaments. And like, shoot, she goes to Chicago for a tournament. She goes to like Waco, Amarillo, Phoenix. I think she I think she gotta go to Florida. I think that was like one of her trips. Like they gotta go to Florida for, and I'm like, and but she has like not only does she pay for to get into that club, but she has to pay airfare to go to these places, or she drives to these places, and it's like sometimes she be like, she'll link up with some of the other parents, and like, she'll like take their kids, and like they'll go and like carpool together type stuff. And it's like, yo, and then there's a guy I work with, and his son is in a traveling hockey club. And he had to go to like Chicago or up in Michigan or somewhere, or like he'd be like, yeah, I gotta take the kid to Florida. Then you know what I'm saying? And then he's like I remember he was telling the story about how his son had broke the hockey stick. And we're not talking about no like he was like I paid like X amount of money for that hockey stick, and he was like if you break, like he bought him another one. He's like you break this one, like you're not getting another one like this. Like you gonna have to go to like Play It Again Sports and get you another. You're gonna be on that ice with this, with this. It's like I'm like yeah. And then here's another thing, and uh, like my friend, she was telling me because we just had this. We just had this snow that came through this bad winter that came through, and like they had a tournament at the same weekend that the snow was coming.
Did they cancel it?
No, they was like, hey, we're not canceling the tournament. And then uh whoever is in charge of the club team was like, well, we still gotta go because if they cancel,
They forfeit.
they don't get their money back.
They don't.
And so like they're not, and I think I don't know if there was like a cancel fee or something they had to pay, or or you just don't get your money back. I forget, but they still had to go, huh?
It could be both. It depends on like I know with basketball, it depends on the circuit that you're in too. So, there's different levels in the circuits. Um, you know, like Nike, Under Armour, um, think like I don't think Reebok has one, but they may. But I know Under Armour and Nike was big for us when we were coming through with our girls, and I wasn't interested on getting on Nike because that means that you're going to Chicago, you're going to Las Vegas. Vegas is real big out there for trips and, tournaments, and it's just like when you start getting into that level, and I had to talk to my kids. Listen, I need a return on my investment. Um, if I'm going to be spending all this money, because you look at food, your hotel, gas, you got to make sure that your car is right. If you're driving, you got to make sure you could be traveling every other weekend or every weekend. You're spending $1,000 to $1,200 easy because we ain't staying in no hotels and no bed bugs or nothing like that. We not trying to. So we gotta stay where we gonna get some breakfast in the morning. And is it gonna be good breakfast? So we went through seasons of like I guess we were doing that for about what, 4 or 5 years? And I got to the point where, listen, now I have my own program, AAU program, and it's just like, wait a minute, this is a lot of money. Like, I'm the program director, I have a boys and girls side, then I'm out here taping, I'm trying to get kids recruited. I'm within the winter season, I'm gym hopping, trying to tape all of these athletes that's in my program, and I spit the video out, and I manage social media, and it got to be a bit much. And
Mm.
I love them. I love seeing them because all of it worked out at the end of the day. Some went to college to play college and some didn't. Like when we went to A&T, I'll never forget because Kobe Bryant died as we were coming back. We went to A&T, and I told you this a couple weeks ago. We go down there. Now, she gets an offer to go to a junior day. Jayla does. So I'm like, oh, they want to recruit her. They have reached out. Okay, great.
Mm.
Go down here. And one of my best friend goes with me, her guy mom, and we get in the car, we drive overnight in the storm. We get down there, and the next morning after a game, a big game because we played CR, and we get down there the next morning, we get to the gym and we're signing in, and they take us to the student center. Very nice campus. And we get in a room and they said, "Hey, we're looking for a center, not a guard." My child is 5'2". She's not she's not a center. Do you mean to tell me? And I love Coach Robinson. Again, when you get with good coaches, and that's another thing I want to say, if you are getting your kids recruited, get to know the coaches and the coaching staff before you send your kids and spend all of that money. But make sure that it's the college for your child at the end of the day. It's really, really important.
Yeah, I remember that we had that conversation. Because the reason we had that conversation is because I told you, like
Mhm.
my friend, she said that her daughter was getting all these college invites to come out and see the campus. All right, and she was like she had to have a conversation with her daughter and was like, look, we're not going to every college. If these colleges are not on your list, we're not going. Cause she got invited to I told you I can't remember, but it was some college up in the New England area.
Mhm.
And she was like, that college is not even on your list of colleges that you want to go to. She's like, we're not going.
Yeah.
It's just because you get invited to all these colleges, we're not going to all these colleges. Cause like, and the reason, and like she was saying how like the college invited her out, and she was like, she had a conversation with them and about uh accommodations and stuff like that. And she was like, and they was like, yeah, we'll set your daughter up in the dorms.
Mhm.
And she was like, what about me? Because like if her daughter's in the dorm, she can't stay in the dorms.
You
You know
can't.
what I'm saying? So like that. So now you talking about she gonna have to pay to fly out there. She's gonna have to pay for a hotel still.
Mhm.
And but even though her daughter's not gonna be, if her, I mean, I know her, so her daughter's gonna stay in that hotel with her. Like, but you know what I mean? But it's like everything is on her,
Mhm.
you know, and it's like,
Until you go through it, you will like it'll change your whole outlook on everything. I know it did for me. When I started taking kids to college camps, and I loved it. I loved University of Maryland. I loved NC We went to Howard, like really, really great people because you get to network with a lot of people and you get to see the up and coming athletes. Like when we went to Maryland, we got to see and meet Angel Reese. So we got to see Shakira Austin. I think her last name is Austin. Like all of the big women in basketball,
mm,
they ran in the same circuits.
mm,
They played travel ball together. When Jay and her 2021 class, I didn't pit Jay on a Nike circuit. It really wasn't worth it. And when what I was getting ready to say earlier was when we went down to A&T and we got back in that car and they said during the meeting, oh, homecoming is not for partying for the team. You're not gonna be partying. And she got back in that car. She said, yeah, I don't want to play basketball in college. That's not, I want to enjoy my homecoming. And look where we are, enjoying homecoming. So, um, I appreciate her honesty and knowing I need to make this decision right now. I love basketball, but
mm,
I don't love it that much to risk my enjoyment in college.
mm.
And
The
then
college experience.
yeah, she got hurt too, so that played a part in it. But yeah, I think the recruiting experience is different, but the college tour experience is different too. That's why I say you need to go to these colleges and tour these colleges because, like I was telling my son earlier, when you go on social media and you're looking at these colleges, it may look fine, but when you go into a setting that doesn't have air conditioner like Spelman and it's hot and you can't breathe, do you want to enjoy that? Probably not. But do you want to get a degree from Spelman? Yes. So you
Yeah.
you have to compromise.
Yeah. Yeah. You know how that applies to so many things.
Mhm.
Because I'm telling you, I got stationed at Fort Jackson, and I had to go find somewhere to live, and I was driving around during the day, and I seen this apartment complex. I said, "Oh, this ain't bad,"
Uh-huh.
you know what I'm saying? And then I was like, "Let me come back at night." I came back at night to that same complex. I said, "Oh, I'm not moving over here." Oh no, everybody was outside at night at that complex. I said, "Oh no, I'm not doing it." Life lesson. When I go looking for places to live, I go during the day, and then I spin the block at night when everybody's home. I'm
That's
telling you. And then them pictures online, you know, I'm
real.
telling you, you can make anything look luxury with some filters and some lenses until you actually go out there and you look at it.
It's true.
Because that pool can look like an infinity pool. But then when you get there and you look at that pool for real, you're like, oh no.
Luck.
So I get that. I understand that. I'm telling you.
And a lot of HBCUs are like that. And that's what I try to get like kids to understand that are in my circle. Listen, If you go to a HBCU, you're going to experience a housing issue. You may not have housing, and you need to understand that now because you're going to have some money to put down for an apartment. And in the city like Atlanta, it is a little tricky. So you pick your poison. It is what it is. But if you want your degree, then cool. No different than Dell State. Dell State has housing issues as well. So, you have to learn how to maneuver. And of course, they say we don't want to talk to the parents. Parents, you need to let your kids grow. And I get that. But if I'm paying you 50 grand a year, I'm gonna need them to have a place to live. Because you getting that 50 grand the first week. First week, you getting your money. So, again, you have to advocate. Don't be afraid, because I done been to the president's office. Knock, knock, knocking on your door. Yes, I'm Miss Scott from Delaware.
It's getting sticky. It's
You have to advocate when money is being paid.
it, yeah, I, everybody wants you want your money's worth.
You do.
You talking about hard-earned money. You know what I mean? And mm.
It gets really tricky with HBCUs. That's the only thing with it. You have to pack your patience because you're dealing with, not all of them are like this, but you're dealing with a lot of issues internally. The turnover rate is very high most of the time. The attitudes are very different. You know, again, someone like me and my daughter, her going down there, her having to advocate for herself and being turned away. And, she turned into, a different person because it's just like, wait a minute, I'm paying this money and you treating me like crap? No, I'm not doing it. So she had to learn that for herself as well. Like, I have to advocate. I'm paying
Mm,
this money and I'm going to get my money's worth, or you're going to give me my money back, So. And you also have to have people in your corner as well. So, on the campus,
mm.
people. So, and that's with any college. Get to know people. But yeah, that AAU stuff is a lot.
I,
It really is.
no, I know now through because I've learned vicariously,
Mhm.
and I'm telling you, like they be hearing these stories, and I'm like, you paid what? And you still gotta pay what? Like not what?
And
Telling you.
say this. Like when you get into softball, it's my understanding you could pay up to 10 grand. And you still got to travel by airplane to wherever. Lacrosse. Lacrosse is a big sport. And if you're African American listening and you have a child that likes lacrosse, get them in lacrosse. That is your scholarship. Swimming, equestrian, um, things like that. That is not normal. Basketball is high demand, and one of few are going to get recruited by a D1 school. So don't go in thinking, again, all of us parents believe that we had the next LeBron James. It's just the reality.
I'll keep my comments to myself. But um, I because uh, it's interesting because I feel like it can be. I don't I this is what I feel, and I ponder like I feel like parents when you have a star player, and not to say that they're not top tier athletes, but when you have a child that is very good, right? But at the same time, you may not the team might or the region or like whatever is like that school's uh what's the
that what you want?
schedule.
Oh,
Whatever
schedule.
that team's schedule is, the other schools that they play or whatever they travel. Cause like I be hearing my friend and she be saying like, oh, she be like, yeah, we're gonna go to this tournament, but I know we're gonna get destroyed. Cause like when you play locally, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna have some good players. But you know what I'm saying? But not everybody's gonna be at at a top tier level. And that's just being honest, right? So when you do have a kid that's at a top tier level and they're playing other kids that may not be on their level, you can be like, yo, that kid's a star. Yes. But what happens when that star is put up with other stars? You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. We
You
were
know what I mean? So it's like when you got a, you know what I'm saying, when you got a Jordan that's playing with um, a bunch of high school kids, top tier. But what happens when you got a Jordan, a Kobe, a LeBron, a Scottie Pippen, a Allen Iverson, you know what I mean? All these players are now together and they're all on the same level. I can't take all of you. You know what I mean?
not gonna be able to. That's why I said when these kids get recruited or they're in the process of getting recruited, they have to be really good within basketball, or I would say any sport.
Any sport.
Your hand picks, if you get in good with the coach over here or over there, they may come and hand pick them, but they actually want to come and see them. Like, I don't want to say I study college coaches, but I've been in the presence of D1 college coaches, and they study everything about you down to your social media. Um, everything. So they study your family history. They want to come out and talk to your mom and dad if you have both parents in the house. What type of parents are they at the games? Are they the parents that yell and scream and act a fool and fight? Or are they the parents that sit quiet and motivate you or, you know, support you in a sense? Like I want people just through my experience with basketball, parents need to understand that too. You can cost your kid their scholarship based on the way you act in the stands.
Your behavior.
I've seen it happen time and time again. Now, I'm a former yeller. I didn't fight, but I'm a former yeller. And not at the refs or anything like that consistently. But yeah, like y'all, you need to go sit down. Like you doing horrible, go sit down. I don't want to see you play. You know. So I say all of that to say, if you're invested in your kids, expect them not to get recruited. Um,
Yeah, I
because
can see that. I can see that.
it's a lot of kids that, and we always talk about it here within the county, like the different AAU teams that were here that I was a part of that uh, dismantled for many reasons, but a lot of kids did not get recruited based
Mm.
on home life, based on attitudes, and that is a big key part in it. And yes, they won playing low level tournaments. Under Armour is not it's not top level. When you start getting into your NBA star teams and your WNBA player teams, like WNBA player team like Alyssa Thomas, she has a team up in Newcastle. A lot of people don't know that. But she's
Mm.
a team that is supposed to be the elite players of Delaware for girls. So they go up there, they try out, you pay your tryout fee. That's another thing. You pay this tryout fee and you don't get on the team, but they've made their money. Another grand scheme. I'm just saying.
Oh
They
man.
already have their hand picks of who they're going to select, who they're friends with, or whatever else. So just think about that too. So when we're talking about we're getting recruited, because I just had a conversation with my best friend a couple of weeks ago. I said, "Hey, I see all this hype about a local player playing and having a good season, but I don't see nothing about no GPA. Is he gonna get recruited?" I'm telling you from my experience, no, he's not. He's not. He's gonna go probably to a D3 or a D2, possibly. But there's a high percentage that he's not going D1. He may be good here, but he's not good out there with the big fish.
Mm.
And that's the reality of it. A lot of us think that our kids are big fish players, and they're not. They're not. They're not going to be. They don't have it in them. They don't have the drive. When you want something so bad that you got to get out of here, you're going to do whatever. You're going to be outside playing right now. You're going to be shooting right now. Our kids don't have it. You don't need mom and dad to tell you to go outside and practice or go to the gym and practice or go shoot outside. You want to get recruited, every time I see you, you should have a basketball in your hand. That's my take. That's why I got out the game because basketball was our thing of live, breathe, do it every day.
Mm.
My mom and papa had a court in the backyard where the neighborhood came over and played. So it wasn't like mom put basketball on me. It was you're going outside to play because your friends are
Yeah.
outside.
I played on that court. That wasn't no play around court.
It wasn't
Like when we got on that court, it was like like
life or
and
death.
crazy. Here, look, here's because now you bring it up memories because let's not forget that there was a whole school with an outside court down the street. So it wasn't like that was like you was either playing down the street at the school
Or
basketball or using that backyard playing on that court. Like I'm telling you, and even if you wasn't playing at the current time, like if you wasn't on the court at that time, you know what we was doing? We was at the monkey bars playing tap. Like
memories that I was just telling my son earlier. He was just like, "Mommy, why don't people really like you within that district?" And I was just like, "Dude, I think it originated from basketball. I know it did. Like when we played CR, it was a problem.
oh, it was
It was a problem. Like back then, it really existed of Dover and CR, and like CR period. Like it was just different. So I was just like, I'm sure that it started from there, um, and it still continues. And I don't care, but I'm still gonna smile when I walk in on Monday. Like I'm here. Yes, we're here. Senior night. We have a cousin. So, um, it's so many memories that cannot be erased on that court. And like I said, I have a deep love for basketball, and it formed friendships that I talk to my friends from the neighborhood all the time. So, like, they're like my brothers at the end of the day. So,
Mm,
it, it's something that is not replaceable at the end of the day. It's really not.
man,
Yeah,
it- man, I tell you, it was basketball was life.
it was.
If you was either on the court playing like it was so much that like we was even on like even video like we was playing on video games
Yeah.
like NBA Jam, uh, Double Dribble, like you was constantly playing something basketball.
But was it forced though in front of us? Like Chicago Bulls, was like the number one team. And I just was telling Nuki earlier because he was like, Mommy, do you know this song with Kobe Bryant and Brian McKnight? He actually played it. And I was just like, I got to sit and listen to this. I was just like, dude, I didn't rock with Kobe like that. I was a Sixer. Like, no, not
Yeah.
Kobe. We love Kobe, but I was Allen Iverson. Let's be clear. Sixers was my team.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, and I know we gotta we gotta wrap it up. But like I was thinking about the other day, I was like, yeah, I couldn't stand Kobe. Why when he was playing, couldn't stand Kobe. You know, especially when it was the Lakers and the Sixers
Mhm.
in the championship. Because I wanted AI, I wanted AI to win so bad. You know what I'm saying? But I love Kobe as a player. I didn't like him at the time,
Yes.
but I love Kobe as a player. You know what I mean? And it's like but I was a Bulls fan, and I'm always gonna be a Jordan fan. Jordan, Allen Iverson, Pippen, uh, Tony Kukoc,
Mhm.
uh, man, Pistons. We ain't gonna talk about the Pistons, but but yeah,
Man,
I feel you.
we live in probably the best era of everything. Music, sports, like
I just anyway,
it's a whole
you
nother
know,
topic in itself. The nine.
it is, because I'm telling you, I feel like anyway, I'm not gonna get to it.
All right.
I'll wrap it up. We need to wrap. We can keep going. I know we can.
Yeah.
Because I
But
just feel like I feel like that we're just in an era that it always repeats itself where there's a new there's a new genre or yeah, there's a new generation and they're just not trying to hear that old stuff.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? But it's not until you get older where you start to get some do have an appreciation for it, but when you get this, you have to get older, you grow appreciation. Because I'm telling you, I wasn't trying to listen to no Nitty Baker when I was young. I wasn't trying to listen to no Earth, Wind, and Fire, no Gap Band when I was young. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I was all about Bad Boy and Death Row and, some Rough Riders. You know what I mean? It wasn't until later in life where, like, they used to make hits back then. You know what I mean? Back in that Luther and Whitney and
yeah.
Earth, Wind, and Fire and, uh, yeah, like I have a deep, deep, deep appreciation for that now versus when I was young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sly and the Family Stone. Like I have a very deep.
Yeah. I don't listen to them like that. Now I just
Oh man, I listen to it quite a bit.
yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
Sly. Oh man, yeah. But I like music, so
Yeah. Listen,
like
next time we gotta talk about these concerts that's coming out. You know, it's a lot. Hmm.
eh, eh. Yeah, it's that is getting now I feel like it's I'm at a point where like I'm willing to start traveling for shows instead of waiting for or it to be local. You know what I mean? Because it's like
You're gonna get to experience cities for sure.
that's what I was about to.
And I think that's gonna be more enjoyable for true fans because I'm trying to like figure out Floetry, where's gonna be the best Floetry and Raheem Devon and Teaser Moses, like that are gonna put on a real like they gonna show off.
I
That's
feel like Philly. I feel like Philly would be the best
you think so?
for them. Where like I don't know. That's what I feel like Philly would be a good city because Philly is that vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know that because you yeah think about like Jilly from Philly.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's that vibe is in Philly. Remember we went to the 2020 concert in Philly?
It was a vibe.
You
Now,
know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like like I just seen Paul Wall is about to do a couple cities in Texas.
yes.
Where else would you want to go see Paul Wall? And he's gonna have uh
Is,
uh Duggar oh
is Slim Thug on that too? Did I see that?
so it's different. He's going to different cities and he has different Texas artists with him in different cities. Like
Oh.
he has like Lil Kiki is with him in one city,
Mhm.
Slim Thug and somebody else is gonna be with him in I think like Fort Worth. I think Lil Flip is coming out in one of the shows. So yeah, like we've been I've been waiting on this uh Paul Swisher House tour
For what?
that they said they was gonna do and they haven't done it.
Mhm.
Like I'm still waiting on that. And if it's Houston, I'm I'm there.
Yeah.
And like I'm somewhere in Texas, I'm going to be there for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
if you go into LA, like I or the Bay Area, like I want to see E40 and uh Too Short in the Bay Area because they're from the Bay Area. Like you know that's gonna be a vibe
Yeah.
if you know go see their shows there. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just like going to see Wu-Tang in New York.
Yeah. It's just like when they announced Redman and Meth Man, the Locks, and who else was it? I forgot who else it was, but they just announced it that the tickets went on sale today. And Jay, she hit me up the other day. She put it on Facebook, and I called her. I was just like, I had seen that. She was just like, "Mommy, you did? Of course, they're my dudes. I rocks with them. I know where
I
they at."
didn't see that.
So I said, "But were you saying that? Did you want to go with me?" She was just like, "Oh no." I said, "I didn't think you were ready for that climate because that's a little different." You know, I'm just letting you know. It's gonna be lots of stuff in there. So you got to get your mind right. So I'm just saying, but I know it's gonna be a great show or great shows. Like they're gonna put on a performance. That's what I love to see at the end of the day.
Hey, look, at this, Raid and Meth, you already know they're gonna put on. You can tell like Raid and Meth just by their energy and like their interviews. You know the show is gonna be good. The locks after the verses, you already know like the locks is gonna put on the show.
But they did that before verses. If you
That's what I'm saying. But they
but it's heightened now, like because now it's just like, oh, I'm reliving verses.
Because
Like
yesterday's price isn't today's price.
it's true. It is true. And I don't know when they're gonna stop. So you may want to see them now because they're talking about possibly stopping. So or retiring. So
Well, yeah, because Wu-Tang just did their last tour.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're not going to, I'm telling you, because there's, anyway,
I know, I know. I appreciate everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your people because I know a lot of people are telling their people because they're telling me. But yeah, we appreciate all of your support.
facts. But that also means that we got to,
Be consistent.
yes,
I'm, I
yeah,
am available.
yeah. Look, done. Sometimes my bandwidth gets very low,
Yeah.
and I just be like,
That
so, but I guess I just have to, I don't know, I just have to do some push-ups and be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely gotta be consistent and like I'm telling you, ideas need to start flowing. And I told you about the idea I have
Mhm.
that I would like to do
We're gonna do
because I
it.
think it would be beneficial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, all right, we gotta get out of here.
All right, cousin. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Y'all be good. Thanks for tuning in. If you tuned in, like you said, please like, share, comment, tell a friend, tell your cousin. Come talk with the cousins. We cousins.
Yeah.
What else? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's 45 minutes that we don't never stick to because we get to talking. So come hang out, come chit chat, come talk. You know what I mean? Hit us up in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Hit us up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you got access to us, hit us up. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk. Let's chit chat. Let's get some ideas. You know what I mean? So y'all be good. Y'all be easy. Y'all stay safe. A lot going on in the world.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on. There's a lot of misinformation going on. There's a lot of alternative facts being put out there. A lot of diversion is going on. So, I mean, just at the final thought, do your own research, look stuff up, verify, you know what I mean? Verify and get the real. That's what I have.
Yeah.
And these traveling team prices are out of control. That's all I got.
All right. Y'all be safe. Don't go messing up someone's day. Please do not. And keep going no matter what.
You
Oh,
don't want to be viral.
yeah. All right. Bye.